Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back to my channel, my Loverlies. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for clicking on my video. I am so happy you found me. I do so hope that you will like and subscribe before you leave. Become part of the Mama family. Mama's got your back, at least where makeup's concerned, and definitely when that makeup is cheap. Today is a little bit something different. I wanted to talk to you guys about foundations. There have been so many foundation releases in the last couple of months. It's insane. And most of them have been drugstore releases. And if you're anything like me, if you have dry skin, it can be really, really difficult to find a great drugstore foundation. It seems like a lot of drugstore releases are geared more towards, oil absorption and oily skin. So it's really easy to buy a foundation, put it on your face, and it end up looking cracky and cakey and gross. So that's what I'm here to help with. If you guys are wondering what is on my face, I did film today's eye look. What did I use? Y'all, complete and total brain fart. Oh, I used the Moira Tropical State of Mind palette for today's eye look. I did do a TikTok. I'll have the link for that in the description box below if you want to go check it out. I think it's really, really beautiful. I've had my makeup on. What time is it now? It's 9:30. I've had my makeup on for at least 5 hours at this point, and I think it still looks really, really good. So definitely, if you guys are interested in what I used, all that good stuff, there is a full product list. There's a full product list over on Instagram. All the tags and stuff will be in the description box, along with everything that I'm going to talk about in today's video. Get you a big old cup of sweet tea, hot coffee, and let's sit down and talk about some makeup. So like I said, I have quite a few different foundations sitting in front of me, and I want to start from bad and work up to my favorite. So the worst one of them all is this one right here. So I picked this up at Burke's. This is the Stila Tinted Moisturizer Skin Balm. This is absolutely awful. The packaging is gorgeous. Stila packaging usually is. It's absolutely beautiful. It feels bougie. It feels expensive. It feels really, really nice. The compact itself is super, super pretty. It's just the foundation. It's a cream, balm type foundation. So I thought it was going to go on and be super lightweight and look really beautiful and kind of glowy on my skin. But what ended up happening is it just looks very, very greasy. It looks very cakey. It looks thick. It looks heavy. It doesn't blend well. It's just not a great foundation. That makes me really sad because I really enjoy Stila as a brand. Anytime I see anything from them at Burke's, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, I scoop it up because they very rarely disappoint me. I picked up the Heaven's Hue highlighter the same time I picked up this foundation, and that highlight is absolutely amazing. I'm going to spotlight it later on this week, but this was just not very good at all. I have mine in the shade, what shade is this? I have mine in the shade 3.0. The shade is not bad. It does run a little bit yellow, but it's fixable. It's just, it is so super heavy on my skin. It does not provide, it says it's a tinted moisturizer, but it doesn't provide any kind of moisture. If anything, it dries my skin out, just makes it look heavier and cakier than everything else does. So yeah, I'm not into this. If you come across this at TJ Maxx, Marshalls, your local discount makeup store, skip this one. It's not worth the $5 that I paid for it. And I'm going to try to see if there's some oily skinned lady in my life who would like to enjoy this, because it's not for me. The next ones I want to talk about are ones that were okay, but not my favorite. And those two are, first off, the Flower Beauty Get Real Foundation. Now, I got this not too long ago when I went to Walgreens. Mr. Hubby took me to Walgreens, and I had a little bit of a shopping spree. I got a couple of things from Flower Beauty, and while this foundation is not terrible, it's not my favorite either. It doesn't really sink into the skin. It doesn't really become one with my skin the way that I really want a foundation to do. It just kind of sits on top, and it never really looks it never really looks finished, if that makes any sense. The color is not bad. It doesn't look super drying or anything like that, but it just doesn't mesh with my skin super well. And I don't know if I've tried it with multiple different primers. I've tried it with super moisturizing primers, and it just doesn't do my skin any favors. It's not terrible, but it's not my favorite either. So it kind of falls in the middle. I have mine in the shade Porcelain. It's not a terrible foundation, but it's not super great in my opinion either. It does wear for a relatively long time. I didn't notice any like breaking up around my nose or anything like that. Just never really sunk in and really did what I wanted it to do. The next one that I pretty much have the same problem with is the Rare Beauty foundation. So this is the Rare Beauty Liquid Touch foundation. Now, the reason this one is just a little bit higher in the ranking is because the longer this sits on my skin, the better it looks. If my natural oils kind of come and join the party, it eventually sinks in and looks really, really nice on my skin, but it does take a little while. I'd say it takes probably about an hour and a half for it to really mesh with my skin, kind of play with my natural oils and really look beautiful and natural on my skin. I do enjoy this because it has a really beautiful, very lightweight feel. It feels like there's nothing on your face at all. It is so lightweight. The formula has a very weird texture. It almost feels like a dry oil once you're putting it on your face. It blends effortlessly. I really enjoy the shade. I have mine in 160C. It is a spot-on match for my skin. I wish that I enjoyed this just a little bit more because it really is a perfect match. And again, it's not a bad foundation by any means. It's just not my favorite. I really enjoy the packaging. It's just, I don't know, it almost has like a grainy kind of powdery finish on the skin once you first apply it, and that kind of like sinks in once you've worn it for a little bit, but it's a very weird formula. It just feels, again, like a dry oil. I wouldn't say it's very moisturizing. I wouldn't say it's very you know what I mean? It's not doing my skin a ton of favors. Also, I noticed that this sinks into my lines terribly, especially on my forehead. I have pretty deep lines on my forehead. And though it looks pretty around my mouth and my nose, it sinks into my forehead lines like crazy. So yeah, not a huge fan of that. I did try this with multiple different primers. I tried it with multiple different powders, and I got the same results every single time. It really did just sink into my forehead lines, and then it also sank into this line on my chin really, really bad. And I would get a lot of collecting right there, which I've never had before. It also collected into the corners of my mouth unless I set it really, really heavy with powder. So again, not a terrible foundation, but definitely not my favorite either. So now we're getting into the good category, and these ones are just, they're all really, really great, and definitely all dry skin approved. So let's start with the heavier coverage ones, and then we'll work our way towards the lighter coverage ones. So the heaviest coverage one is this one right here. And this is actually what I'm wearing on my skin today. This is the Maybeline Activewear Superstay Foundation. I have mine in the shade 112 Natural Ivory. Y'all tell me what you think. I think this looks phenomenal. I think it is absolutely gorgeous on my skin. It went on, it blended beautifully and effortlessly. I will say that you need to make sure that you put a moisturizing primer on with this foundation. It's not super heavy and it doesn't look heavy on the skin, but it can be just a little bit, not drying, but it does like to stick to like dry patches and things like that. So just really make sure that you're prepping your skin before you go in with this foundation, and it is going to wear all day. Like I said, I've had this foundation on, I've had my makeup on for around 5 hours at this point, and I think my skin still looks beautiful. I really, really love the way that it's playing. It's not collecting in my forehead lines. It's not collecting around my mouth or in my like little chin dimple. It looks really, really beautiful. And it's not breaking up at all. I really, really enjoyed this one. I've only worn this one a couple of times, but each time I've worn it, it has impressed me. So I'm very, very happy with it. You guys tell me in the comments what you think, but I'm definitely in love with this one. The next one is the Covergirl Outlast Extreme Wear Foundation. I have mine in the shade 805 Ivory. I really like this one too. If I had to pick between this one and the Maybeline, I think I'm going to pick the Maybeline just because this one goes on and it looks just a little bit heavier on my skin. I find that this one emphasizes my wrinkles and my lines and my pores just a little bit more. It sits just a little bit heavier on my skin. Now, it could just be that the powders I paired with this, weren't the best for it. I did use my Givenchy Prisma Libre powder today, and that makes just about any foundation look good. But I did like this one very, very much. It just looked a little bit heavier on my skin. I will say that it wore beautifully. It didn't look dry or heavy or cakey on me. I usually only wear my foundation, my makeup, at max 8 hours. So I can't give you like a full 12-hour wear test. But in the 6-8 hours that I did test this for, it did look really, really beautiful. It faded very gracefully throughout the day. I didn't get a lot of like transfer. It didn't break up around my nose or my mouth. It didn't really sink super heavy into the lines on my forehead. It looked really, really nice, but it is overall just a little bit heavier feeling on my skin, which is why I kind of like the Maybelline just a little bit more. This one just feels a little bit more lightweight. But if you like a kind of solid, medium, buildable coverage foundation, I think this is fantastic. Also, they're both at a really great price point. They come with really great packaging. They're just really, really good. It all just depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for something that looks this looks a little bit more like makeup in my opinion. It just looks a little bit more like makeup. That is not a bad thing. I enjoy a full coverage, very glam moment. Just a little bit heavier than the Maybelline one though. And now we're coming into some that really, I love. I really do enjoy so much. The first one I want to talk about is the Maybelline Dream Satin Liquid. Now, if you guys have been here before, if you guys have been watching my videos, you will have heard me talk about this foundation. I really enjoy this foundation. This wears beautifully. I think I did wear this all day, maybe a couple of times, and it looked so beautiful. Again, this one reminds me very much of the Revlon or the Covergirl in the fact that it doesn't look like makeup on the skin, but it does. It's a little bit heavier. It's definitely not a super lightweight serum kind of foundation. It goes on and it feels like makeup, but when I tell you this is a perfect skin tone match for me, this is the shade Classic Ivory. Perfect skin tone match for me. It goes on and it looks so beautifully natural and flawless. It's not super moisturizing. It's a satin liquid. It's a satin foundation. So it's got a very skin-like finish to me. This one I think has a very kind of skin-like, almost luminous finish. And this one goes on and it looks, I would say it looks maybe a little bit more matte, a little bit more satiny. These ones have a very similar kind of dry down, but it just wore so pretty. And it just, again, I have a fondness for Maybelline foundations. I feel like they do it right most of the time. And this one, when I wore it, it just impressed me so much. Also, I really love the packaging. I love the cute little rose gold pump. It's just a really great foundation. If you guys watched my best of 2022, you will know that the Dream Urban liquid or the Dream Radiant liquid was my favorite foundation of last year. It was just absolutely perfect. This is very much like that. I do think this one wears a little bit better than the Dream Radiant liquid. It's also got more of a skin-like finish to it. It's just a really pretty foundation. I would say that if you have dry skin, make sure that you moisturize before you go in with this, because if you don't, it can look a little bit heavy and it can get just a little bit drying throughout the day if you're not properly moisturized beforehand. But it is such a pretty foundation and incredibly affordable as well. The next one is the L'Oreal True Match foundation. So this is the OG. This is the formulation before they redid it. I also have the new True Match. I haven't got a chance to test it yet, but we will very shortly. But the old OG one is fantastic. Actually, I purchased this because they were taking it off the shelves at my Walmart, and I was like, I've got to get it before it's gone. So I went ahead and scooped up one. This is the shade C2 Natural Ivory. Y'all, this is a beautiful foundation. Absolutely stunning. Super, super lightweight. It goes on, it feels like air. It looks beautifully radiant. Not like luminous or dewy, but it just looks so natural on the skin. Very, very lightweight. It goes on, it blends effortlessly, and it wears beautifully throughout the day. It kind of has its own dry down, so you don't necessarily need to set it with a ton of powder either, which I love. And I didn't find it collecting in any of my wrinkles. It didn't emphasize my lines or my dry patches. It just looked like a really beautiful, super natural, flawless kind of foundation. I think this is going to be a really great summer foundation as well, because again, it's not super heavy on the skin. It's got a really beautiful, lightweight kind of finish to it. And though this one didn't wear for the longest time, it faded so gracefully off of my skin that even though, you know, it wasn't like flawless by the end of the day, I still looked really beautiful. I didn't look in the mirror and was like, ooh. So it was really, really nice. I enjoyed this one very, very much. And I think the one in this video that is probably going to surprise everybody the most, I know it surprised me the most, this is the ReLove Super Serum Foundation. Now, I picked this up the last time I went to Walmart, and I was just like, ooh, new foundation. Y'all, it's like $3, super, super affordable. I'm going to be honest with you, when I picked this up, I did not have very high hopes for it at all. I thought that this was just going to look terrible on my skin. It couldn't have been further from the truth. This looks gorgeous on my skin. I was super worried that it was going to look drying and cakey and crusty, musty, dusty on my skin. Y'all, I want to say I put this through about a 6-hour wear test, and it looked beautiful. I have mine in the shade F3. Packaging isn't my favorite. It reminds me very much of the L'Oreal's True Match Nude Serum Foundation. It's got the same kind of applicator to it, but the color is spot on for my skin tone. It just looks really, really pretty. Again, I have the shade F3. It is perhaps just a little bit yellow, but as we move into summer, my yellow undertones come out just a little bit more. Y'all, this went on and it's got a really beautiful amount of coverage, first of all. It's not like a super heavy kind of coverage, but it is buildable. So you can go on and do like a light kind of just evening layer all over the face, and then you can build in the areas where you have extra redness or blemishes, things like that, and it builds beautifully. It worked well with other products. This was just so, so nice. It dries down also, so you don't really need to powder it, which is always a plus for me. And it wore beautifully. It faded really gracefully. It's just a really, really nice foundation. It played well with multiple different primers and powders, and it is $3. That is the biggest reason that it is the #1 in today's video, just because it's a $3 foundation, and it's spectacular. It's spectacular. I had the lowest hopes for this, and it went onto my skin, and it just looks so natural and like very not dewy or luminous, but it looked almost maybe radiant. It just was so, so pretty on the skin. And I really liked the way that it felt on my face. This is pretty much dried down now, and you can see there's just a little bit of a radiance to it. It's not a matte foundation by any means, but it's not super dewy. It dries down and it doesn't stay tacky to the touch. It just is a super comfortable foundation to wear. I really, really like this. I wish that maybe I had gotten... No, that's kind of the perfect shade. I was thinking maybe I needed a shade lighter, but that looks just about perfect, especially coming into summer where I'm going to get just a little bit of a tan. This is absolutely perfect. I want to say that this is probably one of my very favorite drugstore finds in a couple months maybe. This just really kind of blew my socks off and amazed me, especially at the price point that it is. You get a good amount of product in here. You get 0.84 fluid ounces, so a little bit less than the norm. Usually it's a full fluid ounce, but y'all, it's only $3 and you get a nice glass container. This is just a great, great foundation. If you're looking for a super lightweight foundation to bring you into summer, if you want something that's super easy to apply, no fuss, no muss, this is a must-have. It applies well with a brush and a sponge. I prefer to use a damp beauty blender to apply my foundation. I find that that little bit of added moisture from the sponge really helps things just kind of set into my face. But again, this is just fantastic. Guys, I hope that that helped you in some small way. The little extra bonus product I want to throw in here really quickly is this Revolution Pro Blur Stick Bright. There you go. So I picked this up the same time I picked up this foundation. I actually used this primer with this foundation. This primer, I'm actually wearing it today. I love this thing. It is super, super easy to apply. It's just a big old stick of primer. You just kind of rub it all over your face and then tap it in. This is fantastic. It brings just a little bit of glow to the face, but it really does even out your pores. It kind of blurs everything. I think that makeup sits really beautifully on top of it. I have noticed a definite improvement, especially around the pores, around my mouth and my nose. The pores on my upper lip usually tend to be my biggest problem area. I just have huge pores on my upper lip, and I don't know if that's because I wax my upper lip or because I shave it, because I have a little bit of a blonde mustache that I have to take care of. I actually had to take care of it today. I looked in the mirror and the light hit me in just that certain way, and I was like, ooh, peach fuzz, let's take care of that. I also had a little bit of a unibrow going on. Anyway, so this is really, really great. I've used it with multiple different foundations, and it just looks really good with everything. And I think I really like how easy it is to apply. It wasn't super expensive. It definitely wasn't super cheap, but you get a ton of product in here. You get 1.05 ounces, and you just need the tiniest bit of it at a time. I feel like this is going to last me absolutely forever. I really like that you kind of glide it onto your skin, and it has just a little bit, this is the brightening one, so it feels like it gives just a little bit of moisture, but it definitely goes on and blurs everything. I feel like it really does fill in my lines and my pores, gives me a super even base to work off of. So I am so in love with this. So yeah, Revolution is like coming for my checkbook, because I'm really liking their stuff. I can't wait to see what they release this year. I am very excited. But yeah, who would have thought that my two favorite products from today's video are going to be from Makeup Revolution? Guys, I hope that helped you in some teeny tiny small way. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send me a comment. I will 100% get back to you. Guys, as always, no filters, no edits, no fancy lighting. It's just me sitting in front of my camera, playing with some foundation, hoping you guys are enjoying what I'm doing. I hope that you guys know how much I love you, how much I truly appreciate you being here, how grateful I am for you guys clicking on my videos. I will have everything listed in the description box below. And until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and remember, you're important. Bye.